All right. Esper Divine Visitation. So it's a build-around deck submission for this card in these colors. We've got a couple of different things going on to make the token sub-theme work. First, that we've got a couple of Memorial to Glories in here, just like most of the Divine Visitation decks. Various token producers include Seraph of the Scales, Dovin Grand Arbiter, and Orzhov Enforcer with Afterlife, as well as a couple copies of Dawn of Hope here. We have an Esper Control-esque shell. One thing worth noting is that you'll notice I'm not playing Kaya's Wrath. That's because I don't think we necessarily have enough black to consistently hit black on time. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and dive into some matches here and see how this goes. This deck passes what I call the overlap test, which is that if you look at all of the cards that I'm playing, a lot of them see play in other decks in the format, so they overlap with other decks playing playable Magic cards. So the overall power level of what we're doing is probably somewhere close to okay, just because like we have a kind of cohesive strategy set of cards. What do you think of Legion's Landing in a Divine Visitation deck? I think in a more aggressively slanted Divine Visitation deck, it's probably fine. So like we've played some white-red Divine Visitation decks in the past. So if your deck is attacking more, it's probably reasonable. I've got a couple of Teferis in the sideboard for the control matchups, but because this deck has less sweepers, I'm not sure we can necessarily protect him. It might be wrong, but I slotted 2 into the board so we can at least add him in if it feels like it's necessary. Okay, updated the stream title. Yeah, it looks like it's good. The stream title doesn't always update on the viewer side. I'm gonna leave that right there against what looks to be an opposing control deck. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate the heads up though, Blackheart. Sometimes I do forget. So give your stream an F5 if you ever think I might have missed it. I do like to keep my title up to date. As someone who watches a decent amount of Twitch in my off time, just to like be familiar with what other people streaming Magic stuff are doing, I find it really annoying how many people don't accurately update their stream title, or their stream title's just some random clickbait thing. It's like, can I just like know what you're playing before I click into your stream? Like, please don't make me click into your stream. Just let me know what you're playing before I go in. Howdy, Kaluth. Remember that time I binned my second White Source? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Woof. Woof. I deserve this. Hey, a Nexus deck. It's just Bant Nexus. Yeah, Golden Guy. It's easily the best 4-mana Vraska deck I've played. Which is kind of a low bar, because 4-mana Vraska hasn't been that good in the format, but she's felt really good in that shell. This is looking more and more like a Wilderness Reclamation deck. Hopefully they're just Bant control. This deck probably has the tools to play okay through what a Nexus deck is doing. That is until I cast Nexus of Fate here in response, then I don't get another turn. Watch us just like not get another turn. I mean, at least they're not doing anything, right? They're just like taking turns. They're not generating extra cards. They're not making land drops. They're just like taking a draw step, basically. Just do something. Do the thing, opponent. Do the thing. You could consider doing the thing. Confirmed worse than opt. I mean, technically it was free, right? I think I'm actually binning that, just looking for counterspells here. Perfect. Anyway, we might actually get there being like this kind of awkward tempo deck. Huh. Do I fight over this? Because it lets me ult Dovin next turn. I think so. We have another seal away here? No. I think getting to ult Dovin next turn is worthwhile. I have like a negate to like sit here and fight whatever they do this turn. So they need to combo me through a negate here. And then Dovin down ticks and gets me stuff. So like they need reclamation. If they go land Nexus, I negate it and then I ult the Dovin. Then we probably keep them from winning the following turn. You are not a counterspell. Dear Dovin, find me absorbs.
The array is complete and ready for inspection.
Absorb, Thought Erasure, Thought Erasure. Alright, let's punch this dirty control player in the face. Winjis, thank you very much for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Explain the thought process of using Absorb rather than Mortify. So, Mortify can kill their enchantment even if I lose a counter war. So, like, if I lose a counter war, I can untap and Mortify's kind of insurance, basically. Whereas Absorb has to use the mana up front. And since I'm kind of choked on mana, mana is my bottleneck, I'd rather get to use the Absorb and then have Mortify as an insurance plan. Again, like, this is annoying, but they're not actually doing anything. So it's just like, shrug and like, okay, take your next turn. Sexy Noodle, thanks for the Prime support. They are really good at drawing Nexus of Fate. Confirmed. This is just stupid. Divine Visitation doesn't turn your existing tokens into 4/4s. It only turns any future tokens you would be making into 4/4s. Shuffler confirmed flat. Alright, my sideboard's got a bunch of cards for Nexus of Fate, so let's do it, I guess. The truth is out there, chat. Maybe Kaya's not good enough. Cyclops, let's not use autism as the butt of jokes. Please and thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, Kaya's nice because it keeps their graveyard clear. So, like, Dawn of Hope is slow, but it's a card that lets us use our... I guess... Am I really... Like, I need ways to actually kill them, right? Yeah, this keeps their Azcanta from flipping, basically, and then eventually kills them. And it's cheap to get into play. This seems fine. Can't Memorial to Glory on 1 in our Thought Erasure deck, which is a little awkward, but it is what it is. Yes, Cheddar. That was literally the first time we've unironically timed someone out since we moved to sub-only chat. It's been 5 days. 5 days in one instance of timing someone out in an unironic manner and asking for a behavior change. I think I genuinely didn't realize how much it, like, taxed me to, like, have to do that all day and think and be in that mindset of, like, no, don't do that. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Still trolling with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much and welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I think I'm in for that. I'm just gonna jam this now. It doesn't get, so if they have a counterspell this turn, it feels bad. But if they don't have a counterspell this turn, after they Chemister's Insight, they're more likely to have a counter. So the longer I wait to play the Teferi, the less likely it is to resolve. So generally speaking, you just want to head to the Space Jam as soon as possible.
No time for a break.
You're having trouble getting the head off the brush base. I believe they have directions on their website, Ornil. Yeah, this seems fine. I think I'd rather Mortify this than Disdainful Stroke it. I'm gonna keep that there. I think with Teferi, that could be okay.
Keep up the pace.
I get to sneak that through at some point. So I get to do this. I get to play Kaya out here, and then Teferi's plus is gonna keep Disdainful Stroke mana up. Thanks to sub-only chat, I remember to use my Beso bucks. Yep. Yep. Slay me, mighty overlords. We got you. Krace is a CMC 2. We have 3 cards in our bin currently. Looking for more counter spells and discard spells. That can stay there. Let's plus this on up.
No time for a break.
Psychologist, thank you for the 6-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Wouldn't be super surprised here to see a Nexus in response to this. We're just gonna double insight. That makes sense. Wow. Yep. So we are flooding a little bit. Depends on how much anti-disruption they have here. If they have Reclamation plus another counterspell, we might not get another turn. Of course, my opponent also doesn't have any way to generate lasting card advantage in play just yet. So we do have that going for us. Yep. I think fighting over this Teferi's right. Obviously, they can tuck in. They're probably going to see my Teferi get tucked in. It's a shame.
Let's take it back.
It's a shame that there's 5 cards in my bin and not 6. Now, something I could have done there is I could have, and maybe I was supposed to do this actually, I could have sacrificed my Memorial in response to my Azcanta trigger to force the Azcanta to flip. And maybe that was something I was supposed to do. Getting to exile their Chemister's Insight there is real good for us. So the fact that they have Teferi in play here could mean that we lose here. Nexus of fun, yep. Basically. The my turn written on the button in the corner is such a tease. It's just like, could you at least like let the button know that it's not actually going to be my turn and like have it say start my opponent start their next turn? Gobble gobble. Yeah, I've conceded a lot of Nexus matches so far today. I feel like this deck has a lot of... The Esper colors have a lot of good tools for fighting this archetype, which is a big part of why it hasn't been banned. Because, like, these colors do have, like, between discard, mortify, counterspells, like, we have a lot of good tools, even if it's a little tedious. I appreciate that when you cast Time Warp and Hearthstone, the button turns into extra turn. Yeah, that's just good. Just good software. If they miss on Nexus here, we are kind of in an okay spot.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
Alright, if they take one more turn, I'm gonna be done. Yeah, a big quality of life improvement would be if you just like walk away from your computer but still see what your opponent's doing instead of having to click done every time they cast Nexus. Like, having to sit there and click done so you can like have the screen update is super annoying. Like, I just like go over there and like fold laundry or like do the dishes and come back to my computer when my opponent's done doing what they're doing. Like, the deck would probably be a lot worse if people could do that, because then people would miss more time when they're winning. It's fine. Azcanta to some discard, some Planeswalkers, Counterspell. Looking for lands. I'm in the market for lands here. Dovin's actually kind of sweet. Let's do that. Vote over what garbage item is a tier 3 reward for an animated icon. What are you talking about, animated icon? Is that a new thing? I'd take their Baffling End here, I think. Really need an untapped land so I can play Teferi next turn. Never tap out now. I needed to hit the untapped land this turn so that way I could play Teferi and have Disdainful Stroke up. Like, now they get to Chemister's Insight, which just gives them a really high probability of having a counterspell for next turn now. Yeah, I should have just conceded the match from the start. Even when your deck has tools, Nexus of Fate is still... Match what of Party Bus? The first match of the Party Bus set is very, very good to Mox. That's the WotC plan, Nifty. They're trying to push us into the loving arms of Best of One. Because there's no Nexus of Fate there to make us sad. At least they banned Felidar Guardian. Best of One still has Team of Reclamation. That's fair. That deck's about the same, honestly. Very, very similar play patterns. Kills you marginally faster, I guess. What did Felidar Guardian combo with? It went infinite alongside the card, Felidar Guardian went infinite alongside the card Saheeli Ray. Alright, we had our third land. If we had our fourth, this Chemister's Insight can maybe get us places. Got a bunch of counterspells here. There actually haven't been leaks for more, which is kind of impressive. Based on like the sinking ship we've basically had from the last few sets of spoilers. I'm just gonna pass here. I don't think I want to not have a counterspell up. Getting one more power into play doesn't really seem appealing to not have a counterspell up. Yeah, I agree, Druck. It's a lot like Splinter Twin versus Eggs, right? Like, against Splinter Twin, you at least got to pick your stuff up because it was obvious that you were dead. With Eggs and Nexus of Fate, you have to sit there wondering, like, should I actually concede? I might not really be dead. Should I concede? Is it worth my time to sit here and not have fun while I'm playing this game I'm supposed to enjoy? Feel naked. It was whatever set Sarkhan was in. Was that the core set? Whatever set the 3-mana Sarkhan was in, there was a huge leak. I countered the Gates Ablaze, hoping to hit the land so I could play the Divine Visitation to then, if these die, get 4/4s in the future. Alright. They don't do anything too crazy this next turn. We should be good to go with our Mortifies, our Absorbs, and our Memorial to Glory alongside Divine Visitation. I don't know if I'm gonna run late today. I was planning to run late, but we've literally played against Wilderness Reclamation, like, I don't even know how many of the last X matches. Like, we're probably gonna win this game, but it's just like, We didn't play against it much earlier today, but it's been like 6 of the last 8 matches. And like, I think the 2 matches that it wasn't were matches we played in the casual queue. Yeah, I'd have banned Wilderness. No, I'd ban Wilderness Reclamation. I think Nexus of Fate's at least doing something neat. It's definitely just super anecdotal, right? Like, the fact that we've hit it so many times here is super anecdotal. Like, by no means is this archetype 70% of the format. How's it been today? We've had some good ones. Had some medium ones. The Mardu Party Bus video is a great one to start today. Yeah, you're not wrong. The time you spend playing, it could definitely be 70% a lot of the time. Just because it takes so long for them to actually kill you. If they have Gates Ablaze. I think I just do this in response. This is a 5/5 though, which means it blocks my Angel profitably. I'd be a lot higher in the ladder if I did not concede to Nexus. Yeah, I think it's mostly making me give up my plans to try and be top 1,000. Being salty playing against Nexus of Fate is not good content. Come on, block my thing. Block my thing. You know you wanna. If they have Gates Ablaze, they might actually want to. I get to play Seraph plus hold Absorb up this turn, which is nice. Yeah, Gates Ablaze ends poorly for me no matter how I slice it, unfortunately. Yeah, this card's super playable. We unfortunately have a lot of cards here that make this game go poorly for us. We have 4 cards that we don't know. And the 3 that we do know are all kind of good. Although I suppose they're also dead on board, so if they don't have a specific card, we could be okay. cast Nexus of Fate here, so I'm gonna go ahead and activate this. Well, they have double expansion explosion in their hand. So they could, like, Gates, expansion. And like, expansion my counter back at me. They are dead on board here, which is nice. Which I assume means they're gonna cast Root Snare. Okay. Still dead. If I absorb their Frilled Mystic, they expansion my absorb back at my absorb and gain 3. And then I don't die. Then they don't die. With the mana base here, support Thought Erasure. We have 4 copies of Thought Erasure on me. So, yes. Yes, it does. This is fine. Needs another land, but like Azcanta and Thought Erasure both dig for lands. I think I Thought Erasure on 2 here just because I want to tag their guild summit before it gets into play potentially. I think I'm actually going to take the root here rather than the Wilderness Reclamation just because I have Mortify in my hand. I'm like, obviously need an untapped land to cast either of those, but... That's right. It was right last turn, it's right this turn. Have a good day, Thimgan. Would Syncopate be good to add in the sideboard with so many Nexus decks? So the problem is that, like, if you think about what the Nexus decks are doing a lot of the time the Nexus decks have plenty of resources to go around. So, like, you're often not going to be able to syncopate them. So you'd rather just have a more efficient counterspell. Marty with the hard-hitting truths. Yeah, decks that have build-around submissions to include cards that I think aren't really fantastic in the format, like in this instance, Divine Visitation, we're not playing in ranked anymore. On the off chance that I decide to try and be top 1,000. I think you can do cute things with Divine Visitation on occasion, but on average, yeah, it's just not optimal. Divine Visitation, the biggest thing that this format has taught me that a lot of people fail to identify is that payoff cards that need other payoff cards to make them work are generally not good in this format. That's true of Rhythm of the Wild, it's true of Divine Visitation. Like, you can play them and win some matches with them, but they're still not going to have you end up in a good position. They are more work than just playing other more efficient things. I will say I'm kind of into the Esper mid-rangey type thing this deck is doing, though. Definitely does that, okay? Seraph of the Scales and Dovin are both just, like, reasonable magic cards.
There is elegance in simplicity.
No, I think if I bait them into using the Gates Ablaze on just these, I'm fine with that. Especially with the Sunken Rune here to, like, dig for something. Would Visitation be if it turns your tokens? Yeah, I think if it turns your existing tokens into 4/4s, it'd probably be fine. Because that's basically the way for it to impact the board, the turn you play it. Be broken. I don't know about broken. It'd definitely be playable, though. Stupid goat. Get out of here. Going on the goat plan against the Mortify deck seems really bad out of the opponent's archetype. Just because, like, I have Mortify in my deck already, so, like, I have an answer in. So, like, sideboarding in a card that's bad against cards I'm having against you anyway seems mediocre. Do you consider Climb better than those other payoff cards, or would that be in the same group? So, Climb is a little bit different in the fact that it does impact the board in a way, right? If you think about, like, what Climb is doing, it adds 1/1 counters to your creature, so it is impacting the board in a small way. And also, Climb is much less expensive in terms of the mana that it costs to cast.
Bring joy to me and others.
Alright, so Dovin does his thing next turn. I've got Azcanta, I've got infinite counterspells. Yeah, there's a lot of what-if situations, right? Just like there's like 800 things you could do to Nexus of Fate for it to be less powerful. There's like a ton of small changes you could make to this to make it reasonable. Rhythm does not add counters the turn you play at Hives. Rhythm does actual nothing if you don't play something after it. Whereas Climb, if you have something in play, you don't need to have more cards in your hand to make it good. So they're functionally very different. A card that adds something to something already on the board versus a thing that says, hey, this has to live for a turn and you have to play something else after it. Those are very different. So, Favorable Winds is another type of card that's very similar to cards like this, in that I'm talking about that tend to not be very good in this format. So they're cards that don't... I guess Favorable Winds is a little bit better because it gives your stuff +1/+1 at least, but... And this deck has tokens that are not flyers, so Favorable Winds doesn't seem particularly good in this shell. We played a blue-white Weenies deck that had Favorable Winds in it once upon a time that seemed okay. Yeah, the Resolve All button is great. Solid improvement. Looks like we're going to get our Nexus Vengeance here. Yeah, exactly, Volp. You get it.
I was confident this would work. Again, I am proven right.
The more I've played with it, I'm pretty sure Rhythm is just worse Stalmery. Dovin is really sweet. I'm super excited for this new Planeswalker set. If only because I'm hoping we get a bunch of Planeswalkers like Dovin and like Kaya and less Teferis. More Planeswalkers that are situationally good instead of always great if you're playing these colors you have to play this card.
We need to move quickly.
The situationally good Planeswalkers are the best designs in my opinion. The Planeswalkers, they just have to, like, work a little bit to make them fit in. I'm not activating Azcanta because I don't want them to Nexus of Fate. Just like to keep activating my stuff.
Hurry!
My local store is now officially doing an Arena Standard in tandem with their regular F&M event. So, like, people bringing laptops. That's really cool, if so. Yeah, I think Domri's great. If you haven't seen the Teamer Domri videos that we've played, I'd highly encourage you to go watch those. You can watch my opinion of it kind of change as we play more with the card. Oh, I should have floated mana. So I made a mistake by not floating mana here. They have PCs? Oh, sweet, they're a land center. That's really awesome. So I technically don't have as many counterspells available as I otherwise could if I'd have tapped better. I think we're probably still in the clear here. My hand is just like mono answers. Yeah, and I think a lot of people are really off on evaluating their power level of Planeswalkers, at least to start, just because so many of us were used to the Teferis and the Vivians of the world, right? So, like, learning these shells to fit Dovin and Domri and Kaya into took more work. It was a skill set that's different than the other skills we've been using so far to evaluate Planeswalkers. Bash Gooder, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Stop it. Bad. Bad opponent. All right, well, we're one and one against Nexus. To see if we get to any matches where Divine Visitation feels reasonable or not. People putting Dovin in control shells and Domri and Vivian shells. Yep. Yeah, completely agree, Marty. Where a lot of us, including myself, were off base and like where those cards needed to go originally. Is this the same person I just played against? I don't remember what their username was. No, basic mode. If it is, they changed decks. I think it's critical that I play this search to try and hit some cards that do stuff. Do Domri and Vivian not fit together? So they kind of do different things. So Domri is a card that leverages aggressive strategies well and helps you play to the board very quickly. And he helps you gas up in very creature-dense decks, whereas Vivian is a card that's really about slow, grindy card advantage. I'm going to play this tapped, and hopefully they'll give me something to negate this turn. And then I can play Seraph next turn and hopefully curve right out on into Cleansing Nova. If they have an instant or sorcery, they want to play it, so that way they can give these plus power, so I'll get to use my negate here. It's just the only place that really makes sense where it doesn't block other meaningful position with my other overlay elements. So blocking out the opponent's name is an incidental bonus. Nice, Mr. 3000. I love to hear that. There's a lot of sweet things in this format. These spirit tokens are on chump blocking duty. Hopefully they don't go red spell Chain Whirler. If they go red spell Chain Whirler, we're taking a ton. So gain 5 here. So this Seraph of the Scales basically gained 8 here. It ate a lightning strike and then gained us 5 on blocks. I bet they're playing Wilderness Reclamation. I'd lose it. Stop it. Let's wipe these out. I wonder if there should be some Lyras in my sideboard. 5. One Mortify, please. One Mortify, please. Alright, how good is your frenzy? Survey says. Pretty good start. Yep.
Go ahead and gloat.
Yep. Pretty good is the answer. If I bin this, this flips. I have to hope this is just bad for next turn. This is 5 and I'm at 6. Yeah, if we had another land, we could like deploy this and do that. Am I dead yet? Beep, beep, beep. Steam boy. Steamkin is aptly named. Aptly named that Steamkin. I think Cleansing Nova is probably just too slow. I get that it was okay that game because they were exceptionally wide, but I think a plan of just like playing out more removal early is probably more ideal. Ever named that card needs a raise, right? Agreed. Well, these spells are really good at the mana can work out for us. Doke. Oh, yeah, Kaya should probably come in here. I agree with that assessment. Kaya buffers our health total. She's good against this. She exiles random 1-drops. Like that. Running Lava Coil for Seraph. Well, that's good for us. Sweet. And now they either play into Absorb or we get to jam Chemister's Insight. Yeah, we played a straight blue-white build that had Tezzeret in it that felt okay-ish.
Analyzed and found one inspired by a good assault.
Did he just say I'm inspired by a good assault?
Success.
We're at 18. This is the easy game. This is the game we won. This is the game we get to win because we're on the play.
My blood pumping. I look forward to seeing your
God bless you and your buffering of my health total, Dovin. We appreciate you for science. I need more 1/1s, Zach. I need more 1/1s.
are an anomaly, not to be repeated.
Is it correct to let Dovin die there? Why? I think I want to just take their threats off the table. Like, I do need to keep my health total high, because, like, if they hit an experimental frenzy, I'm not sandbagging a Mortify or a Counterspell, so, like, things could run away if that happens. Alright, this is the tough one, the one we're gonna be on the draw. Kind of like Duress, especially if they have Lava Coil in their deck. I'm just gonna trim another one of these. It's slow. They're an aggro deck. Oh, I forgot Kaya. Kaya was. Yeah. Definitely. We said that too. Alright. Okie doke. I guess this hand doesn't impact the board very quickly. They just go like Lava Runner into Steamkin. We're probably gonna get run over. Are there any games where you got WGW in tier? I don't know what Wild Growth Walker? Is that what that means? Because we pretty much all where you cut. No, there are not. There's no, in my opinion, there is no reason to cut Wild Growth Walker from Temur Domri. That card is very good. You should put good cards in your Magic deck. Your Magic hot take. Your Magic deck is better when you put more good cards in it. Duress looking pretty bad here. Would have been much worse than a Kaya. Interesting. Okay, well now if they draw something to cast that's not a wizard, I could possibly Duress this lightning, which would be sweet for us. Hot takes are why I sub to this channel. Fantastic. Oh, you're asking, do we ever sideboard it out? Is that the question? Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna post a sideboard guide for the Temur Domri deck this weekend. Probably Saturday night.
Your loss will either be a tragedy or comedy of benefit from another's success.
It definitely comes out against control. So we stay at 18 here. I have Mortify to cover an experimental frenzy. I think I want to just do this and try and find like a cast down to kill this. gonna go ahead and Thought Erasure just to surveil one. Where do I post my sideboard guides? They'll go up in the article previews section on the subs Discord, and I'll probably tweet it as well. I don't have a page for Temur Domri on my website currently. So this doesn't block this profitably. I don't think I want to burn the Mortify on here. Maybe we're getting low enough that I'm supposed to. I think I'm probably going to activate the Memorial this turn. The Memorial basically reads gain 6 on this board. Just going to block the Chain Whirler twice. That is a fantastically good draw. So I'm going to do this now and ditch this island to see if I hit an untapped land. Which I did not. I'm going to put this into play. I'm going to go ahead and pass. The fact that I have Absorb and Negate now means that I have a little bit more play to how I use this Mortify, because I no longer have to hold them for that. So let's go ahead and absorb this. Back up to 13. If they attack with the Runaway Steamkin, I'm going to take the trade here. If they attack with just this, I'm going to chump block. I'm not through both my Chemister's Insights. I might hold on to this land. So they're dead in 4 in the air, which probably means we're going to see them start pressuring with the Steamkin here before long to offer the trade so my clock slows down. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wouldn't be too surprised to see them attack with everything here. Hey, D. Brian, thanks for the 21 months. I appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and Mortify the Chain Whirler. Then I'm going to go ahead and eat this Lava Runner, I think. We take 6 and go to 7. With the Negate, I can play a little bit fast and loose with my health total. Search for Azcanta is primed and ready to flip. I think if they attack with both, I'm going to eat the 2-1. Since I have this to save me from a burn spell. They're also dead in 2 in the air. This could find me a removal spell for this next turn. That is kind of what I asked for. So I just need them to not have a burn spell in their hand and a burn spell on top of their deck. Which I think if they had a burn spell in their hand, they would have sent it in already instead of giving me a bunch of looks at a counterspell or a way to gain life. So this'll block here, and then I've got Negate to cover anything else they might do. I feel like there's gotta be unexplored avenues of Esper midrange out there. Every time we play these more midrangey variations of Esper, they feel very reasonable. Except for when they have Hero, the Precinct 1 in them. The Esper Hero configurations have felt a little bit mid-lane. I've definitely really liked these other builds that we're working on. They're the Thief of Sanity. Seraph of the Scale is just an incredibly good card when you have the good support around it. We go first. Hopefully we find a 2-drop on 2. I'm gonna bottom that since we have these Dovins in hand to tap out 4 on 3. Can we do an Esper Priest deck using Dovin? Yeah, we actually talked about the possibility of an Esper Aristocrats deck, like Black-White Aristocrats splash Dovin. I could see that being reasonable. Like, get some counterspells in the sideboard to help the Nexus matchup a bit. Have a good one, Captain Markov. Good luck at your matches. Thanks for dropping in today. If they're mono blue, this hand's probably not terrible. Both Dovin and Seraph are flying blockers, which is meaningful. They play like a 1/1 for 1 here. If they don't have a spell pierce, Dovin's going to make their life very difficult. Don't spell pierce me, don't spell pierce me, don't spell pierce me, don't spell pierce me. This is a reading Dovin pause. They have spell pierce. Opt! Sweet.
Anyone would be so foolish as to
But I'll
face
make an
me.
exception for you.
Look what I can do! Talk! What's going on, Toe Smasher? Thanks for the 3 months of support. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Dovin is very snarky. You are not wrong. Alright, so if they attack Dovin, I'm chump blocking. If they attack me, I'm not. So chump blocking here to save Dovin just makes sense because if he dies, or like, because he lives, he's gonna make another Thopter and gain me another life, so I like end up a life point by blocking here. Hopefully they play another creature or something out here so I can stick Seraph. Do I want to play Seraph for the scales? I
Another success.
think I do. It's really bad if they essence capture me though, right? Wizard's Retort is kind of whatever. I don't want them to make this a 3/3 though. C-Lab X, thanks for the Prime support. Wow, that resolved. Well, that's incredibly good for us. And I feel like we can conclude they don't have a Merfolk Trickster, because if they did, they would have killed Dovin last turn by diddling the Thopter. Congrats, Skip Dash. The fact that Seraph has Vigilance here is really absurd, just because it allows her to pressure while also playing defense. Yeah, that's awesome, Weather Lady. Kids, is it your first? Thanks, Toe Smasher. I appreciate the feedback. If you haven't filled out my sub-survey, please take like 2 seconds to do that. It's not like the long WotC surveys that are a million questions. It's like 5 questions and then an optional fill in the blank if you want to tell me anything past that. If you didn't get the sub-survey, check the spam folder of whatever your Twitch email is linked to, or pop on into the subs Discord and check the pinned messages in the general section. Sweet. They'll be a good age bit apart. Two now when you just found out, so he'll be about 3 or so when you're in the second one's board. If you pop on into the subs Discord, Toe Smasher, you can find the link in there. I'm gonna make a note to, I meant to share it earlier. Share. I can pull up. I was writing a note and accidentally clicked enter in chat. I use the chat box to write notes to myself while I'm streaming. I'll pull up and show some of the results from the sub-survey on stream here in a hot second after we finish this match. I guess it'll be more than a hot second because I'm going to finish the match, but... We have 1, 2, 3, 4 things in here, so they can't quite fart this yet.
There is elegance in simplicity.
Actually, I can activate this Memorial to Glory this turn, which is sweet. I just hit with everything here. Attacking with the extra one means that they have a Merfolk Trickster here they could hit my Dovin. I'd really like to ult my Dovin next turn. The Z button undoes a mana that you floated. Clown Copter, thanks for the Prime support. Hope you're having a good one. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, thanks for chipping in the Bezo bucks. Wow, brutal. Poor Dovin. He's just a poor little 3-mana Planeswalker trying to ult in this big hard world. Yeah, Herald's unblockable, but Dovin's plus adds counters to himself. Play the other Dovin to give that one a break.
There's no accounting for luck. I can benefit from another's success.
They have a Curious Obsession here. I assume this means Dovin's going to die. Man, that's really unfortunate. Blink was super powerful there for them. I thought we were going to cobble this together. Feeling a little bit behind now. I kind of need to draw another Seraph. Divine Visitation would actually be a very good draw too, since I have the Memorial to Glory in play and the Dovin in my hand.
The facts can't be denied. I am beaten.
I am beaten. A land. That's a lot like the things I just asked for. I think I'm actually just down-ticking him again.
Whatever your plans, they're statistically likely to fail.
Am I? I could plus him and attack with everything. I'm gonna plus him and attack with everything. If they want to eat one of my Thopters with their Temptation, that means Seraph of the Scales isn't dying this turn, which is good for me. Dovin with more counters is a bigger distraction for their Mistcloak Herald, because every time this thing hits Dovin, it's one less card that they're getting to draw, because this only draws cards when it hits me. Do you not know this has more hidden text? I know the text box on this card's real deep, but... So like Dovin's going to 7 here, which means Mistcloak Herald has to give him a love tap again next turn. And like I have a bunch of things here, so we might get to power this through to ultimating. To build a Pillar of the Perrunes deck in Modern. I think the build around price on my website for Modern is 50. 50 sounds right. Double check the website. If you go to the bit.ly/Google sellout. Whoa! If they don't have another blink, this Dovin gets to ult. Please don't have another blink. Please don't have another blink. I would love to dig deep here. Opponent figuring out their options. We're also just like kind of winning the race at the moment. Like this thing turns into a 5-5, but like I hit them for 4, hit them for 3. That's a lot of scary Terry. So what are we looking for at this point? Like another Seraph? It's a Divine Visitation. Huh. Do I start with this? Do I start with this? How long does it take for a standard basic deck submission to go through the queue? Usually about a month. If you have a $10 submission, it takes about a month to come up usually. A lot of choices here. So like if I lead on the Divine Visitation and they counter it, and they don't counter, I could down tick Dovin and make a 4/4. I think I'm gonna do that. I could dig for a counterspell with the Dovin. I think double spell pierced. That resolved. All right, I guess I'm just doing this still.
This is why I am generally banned from gambling.
All right, I guess I'll take the spells. I guess I'll take the spells. Man, that's brutal. Oh, was there another memorial in there? I think you're right, there was another memorial. I'd already played my land for the turn though, right? I wasn't paying attention. He sucked out all the bad draws, huh? All of them? Alright, so I make 2 4/4s this turn, and then I get to make 2 4/4s by paying 8 mana every turn after this. Like, they're drawing a bunch of cards here, but just like make 2 4/4 flyers every turn might beat them drawing 3 cards a turn. Because I'm not dead to this Mistcloak Herald for like 5 more turns. That's gonna be a lot of 4/4s on the in-between. This has been a weird game. Because I can't just attack these 4/4s into the Terramanders just yet. Need to go wider. Am I getting bounced? Are they bouncing my Divine Visitation? I was about to slide out of my chair if this got bounced. Let's just do this now, so that way there's no shenanigans. Would like the least possible chance of shenanigans. We're doing the thing, chat. We're doing the thing. They are dead on board. What's going on, Coons? Good afternoon. Alright, sweet. We did it. We did it. We did it. Hooray. Cast down. Moment of Craving. Cleansing Nova. Kaya. Trim these. Trim these. Trim this. Trim those. Bring in Duress. This seems fine. This seems fine. Let's do it. Let's do it and do it and do it and do it again. How's everyone doing today, by the way? I hope everyone's having a great Friday. So dropping in here today. My name's Jeff Hogan. We're hanging out playing some Magic the Gathering. Play a ton of standard best of 3 here. We always rotate through decks every 60 to 90 minutes or so, so you get a lot of variety on this channel. If you're new, make sure you hit that follow button. It doesn't cost you anything. I'll let you know when I go live and with what. I'm here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Start about 8 a.m. in the morning and then stream till about 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometime about there. Usually I do at least 6 or 7 hours a day, though. 100% sure if we're going to get through Teamer Drakes today, but we're definitely going to play at least Naya tokens after this. Run a little bit late because I am taking the entire weekend off. For my regulars, I am planning to take the weekends off every weekend between now and when War of the Spark releases, and then when the new set drops, I'll probably amp back up and do insane hours for a couple of weeks. Leverage new hype while the set is fresh. Use a timeout, we can fix that. Uh-oh, audio's bugging. Let me restart this real quick. These people are great, buy their stuff. These people all so great, buy their stuff. I believe April 25th is the release date on Arena for the new set. And it's really weird because, like, the paper Mythic Championship for this new set is the pre-release weekend, but the Mythic Championship is modern instead of standard, so I can't, like, it feels like it's sweet they finally moved up the release date, but, like, I'm not that hyped for it because it's not going to be new standard. I heard Hoaglandia's gone soft. For you, Hippity, we will time the crap out of you if you would like. Yeah, spoiler season's usually a month long, which puts spoiler season starting sometime about 10 days from now. Yeah, I agree. I just keep all my removal spells, huh? I don't think I want to jam either of my Planeswalkers into a possible counterspell here, so I think it's just going to be like a Mortify on their turn. I did not watch TCC's video on Modern Horizons yet. Some of the commons and uncommons get spoiled usually. There's like a final day, like a couple days before, where they just like release everything. Spell Pierce, sure. I could probably stay there. Thanks, Vault Bros. Have a good weekend. Hope to catch you on Monday or on the YouTubes over the weekend. Did we change anything with the party bus list while we played it? Yeah, whatever the last list is, we made a few changes while we played it. I'm gonna put that on top, and I'm gonna go ahead and Thought Erasure them. Things I do not currently have. Creatures. Kaya would like to exile this Mistcloak Herald.
I can get rid of anything. Don't you hate it?
Dunk.
Stay dead.
Alright, sweet. And we know their card is that, so I get to Cleansing Nova, so I'm gonna have an empty board with me having a search for Azcanta. I think I'm actually gonna keep that. Like, obviously, I know they have this Essence Capture in their hand, but, like, I'm gonna get to have time to dig to a Thought Erasure or a copy of Duress to clear that out, so I can just sit on this for a little while, because she's real good. The land here is not even a bad draw, because it means that, I can activate Azcanta after I cast Dovin, which is great. So this is, we're rapidly heading towards garbage time here, even with them drawing that. Like, we're going to be activating Azcanta every turn here. Both the artwork and the animation on this card are just fantastical. They're very, very good. Opponent concurs that we are solidly heading towards garbage time. Quintez JP, thank you for the 15-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Oh, they were tapped out. Yeah, that was probably correct. I don't know. I wanted to draw a card. Did you know when you kill your opponent, you're required to stop drawing cards? And it's honestly the worst part of the game, right? You have to ask you to stop drawing cards. So I'll probably post these in the sub Discord as well later. I posted some screenshots of them from last night, but these are the short answer, or the not short answer parts of the sub survey. They're not about. We got 600 responses so far. Like 92% are here for some amount of standard content, with 71 for modern. And then your favorite type of content is standard, leading by a large margin, with anything being the second highest, with some modern and some legacy, which makes me think like the mix of content that I'm doing right now, with one modern or legacy league to start the day and then the rest standard, seems pretty reasonable. And this is comment about the sub only chat and YouTube comments, which is about going the way I expected. Actually, there's more that say they like it than I was expecting, which is a good thing, because I think I like it too. If you are a subscriber and you want a link to fill out the sub survey, I'm not posting it publicly, because if other people start taking it, I have to filter out their Twitch usernames, and that's annoying. So feel free to join the subscriber Discord and look at the pinned messages in the main channel. Yep, here's details on how to join the subscriber Discord. Please note, you can only join it from the desktop. You can use it from mobile once you've joined, but you can only join it from the desktop. If you didn't get the survey via email and your sub wasn't lapsed yesterday, check your spam folder. A bunch of people said it got sent to their spam folder. And then do me and Twitch a solid and mark it as not spam. We are very, very exclusive these days. Anywho, this deck. We went 3-1. We lost to a Nexus deck. We beat a Nexus deck. We beat Mono Blue. We beat Red Aggro. Divine Visitation actually did some stuff at some points in those games. I think this is probably the last time I'm going to accept this as a submission, at least until we get new cards or things rotate. The 5-mana cards that don't impact the board the turn you play them, They just come up a lot short in this format a lot of the time. And while like Planeswalkers like Dovin and Afterlife effects can like help it a little bit, it tends to just be a win more card a lot of the time. Obviously, there's some situations like that last match against Mono Blue in the first game, like Divine Visitation was genuinely very good and won us the game, and other cards wouldn't have. But I think in general, this card's not ideal. One thing I will say about this deck in general is that it definitely renews my interest in exploring kind of Esper mid-range style shells. Basically, Dovin plus Seraph plus some other miscellaneous creatures surrounding it, backed up by Thought Erasure, consistently seem very reasonable in this format. The hero shells specifically are kind of middling in Esper, because you don't really have great ways to leverage the extra tokens that you're making, but just like this kind of core seems more than reasonable. Teach me to be brave and get pink hair like you. What's going on, Lebo? Thanks for the 5 months, and thanks for the very generous tier